poppin', y'all? It is your boy, Guard3, and welcome to Wait a minute, this isn't on the ball. This is Sideline to Sideline. And of course, joining, just like every week, he is the Prince of Production. He is Kyle Edwards. How you doing, Kyle?
I'm good. I'm good. It's like you said, it's on the ball on a Thursday on sideline to sideline. So I'm here for it. Got another game tonight. It's already week 2. The season's already moving by too fast, but I'm happy to be here.
No, absolutely. So, normally, we kind of start off the show, we talk about some of the games that happened last week, but since we kind of did that on Tuesday, Kyle and I thought we would mix it up, have a little fun. By the way, Jory Key, how's it going? So, at the end of the show, we definitely will talk about the main event of the evening. But for now, we thought we would make a tier list live. What's up, Kerm? So here we go. We have a breakdown, the top 5 teams, the next best 5, the next best 5, from 1 to 32, and it's real simple. We're going to put each of these teams into one of these tiers. Like I said, it should be a little bit challenging at times, but that's what makes it fun. So I figured, Kyle, why don't we start with some of the layups?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Kerm, you already read my mind. Let's get some of these worst teams out of the way.
Let's do it.
So I think we can both agree. Dolphins.
Yeah. I mean, the dysfunction, the absolute lack of execution, yeah, they have to be bottom.
No, absolutely. Of course. I had low expectations for the Dolphins. Even I couldn't believe how bad they were.
Yeah.
See, the Saints, competitive, but still, they got to be at the bottom. I also think we can agree that
the
Giants not great.
Yep.
And you know what? I think we can also knock out some of these teams at the top too.
Right.
Because I don't want to spend too much time thrashing these fan bases. They have enough to deal with already.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't we look at some of these teams who belong at the top of the list, and then we can start breaking down the teams in the middle.
Right.
I think we can both agree. Might as well get this out of the way. Oh, nope, one more. The Featherbrains.
That name was caught on.
It has.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like what the other teams are going to put out there, they're probably going to be, they might be the weakest one at the top, but yeah, based off of week 1, I think you'd keep them up there. I mean, I think the team that beat them, Buffalo, probably deserves to go up there.
We did see some power rankings that did keep the Ravens ahead of the Bills even after losing to them, which I found interesting.
I don't understand how that works.
And of course, like you said it, how could we keep Buffalo away?
Yeah.
Like my head coach. Yeah. Look, Callahan on Sunday, the Titans were just interesting. I don't even know how else to really say that. Like, they behind the elbow thing, they also had my favorite play call of the weekend, which was the wide receiver screen that nobody knew who it was for. So we just had 3 wide receivers going to block the same defensive back. It was just a true masterclass of clearly nobody knew what was happening. Just, it was amazing. It was incredible. I got a kick out of it. Say another
there.
I think we can say the Packers are a safe bet to move up there.
I like that.
And to think of a true, yeah, it's exactly what I thought, Jory. And the Eagles, I think they're another lock up here.
All right, so now 5th team. Do you go? Chargers had a good week.
See, this is where the challenge starts, right?
Yeah.
Because who do you put on our week one power rankings, in that fifth slot. There was a lot of great football played.
So my nominee would probably be the Chargers. I just think the way they looked against the Chiefs, depending on how you feel about the Chiefs' performance, but I thought that they had an opportunity to make a statement. They kind of did. The offense looked like it was flowing really well. Herbert looked really good. He looked comfortable. The wide receivers were getting open. So that'd be my nominee for the fifth spot. I don't know who else are you thinking?
You know what? Let's do it. I do like the idea of the Chargers being up there, and you know what? We can always move stuff around later.
Yeah.
I think another team to fill out the bottom structure here. I'm sorry, I have to do it. It has to be the Titans. We kind of touched on it earlier. It just nobody seemed to know what was going on. I think. What do you think, Cleveland? Cleveland's interesting because I do think that they're still like a bottom team in the league, but at the same
Yeah.
time, they look competitive against the Bengals.
Yeah, this where it gets tricky because I guess some other teams. I guess I have to think about some other teams that didn't perform well. Like the Panthers had a bad showing week one.
Oh my god, so awful.
Yeah. I mean, the Lions didn't look great, but I don't think they were that bad. I mean, the Bengals in a win didn't look good.
See, I feel like we're kind of like. I feel like the Bengals are almost like a middle of the road.
Yeah.
Like they're gonna end up falling in this range.
Mm-hmm. So I would say Carolina probably goes down there
Fair enough.
because they did only put up 3. All right, so now we got.
So we need a
need
couple more teams
yeah.
up here.
This
Ooh.
is where it is tricky.
This is where the fun begins.
All right,
put Dallas in the 16 through 20 range. I think you could argue that they almost looked a little better than that.
Dallas definitely performed better than I thought they would.
Yeah, I think you could argue that they were in that 11 to 15 range. They were good. Like I give Dak a lot of credit. He gets a lot of crap, but he played at an all-pro level. He was one of the best He's arguably one of the best quarterbacks of the weekend. He was pretty much trending to be the best quarterback of the weekend until Sunday night happened.
But I kind of feel like that's what Dak is, right? The team does whatever, and then you look at the numbers, and Dak is always like a fringe top 10 guy because he'll put up numbers. Now the wins, we'll have to see. So yeah, I agree. He had a good weekend for himself.
So you know what?
Maybe as we filter in some other teams, we'll figure out who else.
At
the bottom.
We'll get some names cooking here, and then we can. Which also this kind of gives us a benchmark or two to work with, right? So, for example, Rams. Do you think they were better or worse than Dallas? I thought they were probably slightly better than Dallas.
Yeah, I would say. Yeah, defensively they were pretty good.
Defensively, absolutely, they held the Texans to 9. Offensively, here's the thing: offensively, they were a mess, but
the Texans defense has something to do with that as well.
Yeah, and at the same time, like I fully trust that the Rams' offense is going to bounce back. So I kind of want to put them in here. Our 1 through 5 slots are full from opening week, but like I said, if you guys have a legitimate argument, we can always change them out. So I think that's fun.
John brings up the Niners, and the Niners got a ugly win over the Seahawks. They're now banged up to the point where Kittle's out for weeks, Purdy's out for weeks. Which, I mean, I guess we're basing this off of the week 1 performance, but even the week 1 performance wasn't great. So I guess, honestly, are they better or worse than Dallas? Like, yeah.
I'd put them like here.
Yeah.
Like, they had arguably the least impressive win of the weekend. And I only say arguably because the Denver Broncos existed. And they
Yeah.
tried even harder than the 49ers to give that game away at times. Like those two just had such like unimpressive wins. But the thing with the Broncos is I see the avenue for bounce back, right? I see
Hmm.
the avenue for Bo Nix to really start balling out.
Hmm.
I don't really see that for the 49ers because what now you have Mac Jones for 4
Depends how
weeks
you feel
and
about Mac Jones now. Yeah.
without Kittle, like I don't really see the avenue in which this happens. Like Christian McCaffrey's probably gonna be breaking reception records next game.
Hey, they brought back old friend Kendrick Bourne. Actually, Mac Jones and Kendrick Bourne do have a bit of a connection. I wouldn't be surprised if Kendrick Bourne doesn't see a lot of targets.
Vikings top 10. See, that is interesting. There I
Three
could see the
quarters
argument.
they weren't. That fourth quarter, they were pretty good. I don't know if I would go top 10 though, but they were impressive, especially once Flores got that defense really going after Caleb. Like that's what shifted that game around. I'd be tempted to put Minnesota like in the 11 to 15 range just for now.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I'm at with them. They have the weapons, they have the defense, or they have the defensive mastermind, even if I don't necessarily trust all the pieces individually.
Hmm.
But I do trust Brian Flores. It's all going to come back down to JJ McCarthy. Look, I get it. He had a great fourth quarter, but
Hmm.
he wouldn't have had to play Superman if he didn't look like he got hit with kryptonite the first three quarters. Like,
Yeah.
it was really bad.
Yeah.
The fact that he won NFC Offensive Player of the Week was just mind blowing to me.
Yeah, I saw that. I was kind of surprised by that.
Me too. I really was.
Yeah.
I just say, what's
His
gonna be
fourth
fun?
quarter was good.
Say, yeah, I did not think that. I didn't think that of. I didn't think he was that good. Like
Hmm.
his his resilience was great, but I didn't think he was that mind blowing.
I heard somebody say that I think they were saying like JJ McCarthy might be Baker Mayfield, which I think if you're Minnesota, if JJ McCarthy turns out to be Baker Mayfield, I think you'll live with that.
Tampa top 10. You know what? I do like that. I do like the idea of Tampa top 10.
I mean, they won a game where Baker wasn't great
Say, I think they
on the
have the
road.
I think they have the weapons. I think they have the defense to keep it up.
Hmm.
Say, basing it off week one, and then we'll see how accurate this is going forward too. So it'll be fun. We'll bring this back on the ball in future weeks. I think that'd be a good idea.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now we got what I think the hardest team to figure out is, by the way, this team right here, the Colts. They were they're not as good as that week one suggested.
Right.
Like week one suggests I should make a tier above 1 to 5. That's just Colts.
Right.
But
Yeah. But I
oh my,
mean, you do have to take a little bit away because of how bad Miami was, for sure.
that's why. Like, do I put them in 11 to 15? But at the same time, are they really going to be a top 15 team all year?
Probably not.
Like, I feel like
Yeah.
this is where they're going to be all year. Like, we can base it off week one, but I guess probably should also kind of predict how it's going to go in the future a little bit too. And
Yeah.
they had a great opening week, but I don't see it lasting.
Right. I mean, look, Daniel Jones is impressive. They the way that they dismantled Miami and just broke their spirits, you gotta give them credit for that. So yeah, for early in the season, I think that's a safe place to put them. Yeah, Kerm,
Yeah.
I agree. Colts are unknown, but you have to give them credit for dominating a Miami team.
Yeah, you know what? Why not put them up here? We'll give them credit. We'll put them in that top 15 range.
Okay.
I think that's the highest I can give them because I do think it's possible that they are a top 15 team. I feel like they're right at the border of like 15 that you can go either way.
I can hear that argument.
You know, I think is a perfect 16 to 20 team.
Yeah,
They're better than the 49ers. Like, they're
yeah.
going to be better than an injured 49ers team, I think.
Hmm.
But
If the Bears ultimately end up as a 16 to 20 type of team, will that be seen as kind of a letdown for a lot of the hype that they kind of came into the
yeah,
season with?
yeah, it definitely will be. But I think that's fine for them. I think it just shows an upward trajectory considering last year they weren't even a top 20 team. They were awful last year.
True.
So I think it does show growth.
Yeah.
And even if Caleb Williams does develop into, like, for example, I made the bold prediction he was going to be a top 10 quarterback. I don't
Hmm.
know how much higher that this team is realistically gonna climb. It Ben Johnson showed a lot of showed he needs to grow a little more as a coach.
Hmm.
The defense allowed themselves to get pummeled by the Vikings in the fourth. Like, this team is so full of uncertainties that I think 16 to 20 is like a fine estimate as to how they're going to do.
Yeah.
Look, yeah, you pointed it out, John. Look, the Bengals always struggled the first 4 weeks, and that's what kept them out of the playoffs last year. So
Hmm.
the fact that even won that game, to them, they should be doing backflips. Because last year they would have lost that game.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Us
think as a Bengals fan, you win any game in September, you don't care how bad it looks. You will take that.
say, see, yeah, here we go. Now we're starting to shape up here. Now we're having a
Right,
little
because now
fun.
these are the teams that are gonna be maybe the trickiest to kind of pinpoint.
Absolutely. But you know what? I think the Commanders belong in 6 through 10.
Yeah. I mean, look, we said the Giants, at least defensively, are good on that side of the ball, and Washington was able to make plays. They
Yeah,
use
and that
Debo. They use Debo kind of the way you should. Out wide a little bit, backfield a little bit. He's like a gadget guy, and that's how they're using him. I think that's going to be the smart move for them.
so we got John giving us our last two 6 through 10 teams. He says, first, I will start with the Chiefs.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, this is to me the hardest one of them all. This Chiefs
I didn't
team,
like anything that they did defensively. I probably liked even less offensively, especially Worthy banged up, Rice still out. Kelsey looks slow once again, which he did this last year, and then kind of waited until very late in the year to turn it on.
like, yeah, and that's my problem with it. Like, this is a team where the defense looks acceptable. Now, granted,
Mhm.
like, the Chargers O line is also just very good. So
Yes.
I don't
Yes.
think every defense will be able to limit Chris Jones like the Chargers did.
Right.
Like, the Chargers O line, I thought they were going to be a little rough without Slater, but they looked incredible. I'll give them all the
Yeah.
credit in the world. But that being said, like, I'm not sure where points are coming from.
Yeah, that's my worry.
Like, if you limit the sell out to you limit Pacheco, like, who's getting open? Like,
Mhm.
Kyle, we're relying on 2025 Juju Smith Schuster to get open and
Yeah.
Hollywood Brown.
Now
And
Hollywood Brown did almost have 100 yards on the Chargers, but you
say,
don't want Hollywood Brown being like your number one receiver. The obviously the overall plan for the Chiefs is like, Rice is their one, probably Worthy the two, and Brown kind of being the three playing off of those two. Well, I guess
yeah, that
Kelsey have to throw in there as well, but yeah. But
I think,
Kelsey, I think, is just going to start slow every year from this point on that he does decide to play.
yeah, I feel like that. I feel like Hollywood's still good. It's just I'm not sure if I'm a fan of Hollywood Brown, number one receiver.
Yeah.
So, like, part of me is like almost thinking drop him down here, but then they still have Patrick Mahomes, so we'll leave them on the back burner for now.
Yeah, yeah.
The other team you brought up, I think, are more interesting. The Steelers. Now,
Offensively, dynamic. Surprising defensively that they gave up as much as they did to the Jets. But then again, you got to give Fields and the Jets some credit for that. Steelers, I'm willing to put. I don't know if I could put them 6-10 right now.
it depends on like how much you think the defense was like real. Like, do you think
Mhm.
that they're just bad all of a sudden? Do you think that that they'll round into shape? But if they round into shape, like the offense is not averaging 34 a game.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
where does the offense fall in at that point? Like, what tier do they fall in? So, like
That's a good question.
that to me, like the Steelers, if the defense rounds into form, but the offense stays somewhat near what they did, like even if they average a solid, like they're the top half of the league in scoring, then
Hmm.
yeah, they're right here. But if the offense falls off a cliff, then we're probably looking at 11-15. But honestly, Steelers top 10, I'd be willing to listen to because I think that defense will round into shape, and I think the offense will be at least a top 15 offense, even if they do take a step back.
Yeah, I would have more faith in them turning it around defensively than necessarily offense staying at this level. So I definitely see what you're saying. Like I was thinking 11-15, but if they're in 6-10, they're probably 10.
Yeah, that they're like to me they're borderline between these two.
That's
Like if
fine.
there's a 10.5 category, that's where the Steelers would be.
Yeah,
I think
Steelers are a little
Casey
bit.
bring back Tyreek Hill. I think Tyreek Hill right now is just untradeable.
He's
I think he's
untradeable and probably borderline not worth a roster spot.
yeah, and like you get all the time that a player's untradeable, like in a good way, but he's untradeable in a bad way.
Yeah.
Like he's a big cap hit drama,
Hmm.
and you don't want him around your team. It looks like half the time.
Right. He's
Like
he's a
you
headache
saw
that you don't need.
you saw the drama he caused with the Dolphins this offseason, and you could
Hmm.
tell even his own teammates were like almost done with it.
Yeah. But you have a young guy in Waddle there, and it's like, how much do you need Hill in the same wide receiver room as a guy like Waddle?
Oh, absolutely. See, the only other 6-10 has to be the Lions. The Lions are tough. They're so tough because
So if we're going off of John's comment, it would be, is anybody left that played better than the Lions?
I could argue that the Bengals played better than the Lions.
I could argue that as well.
The Lions didn't look good. The problem with the Lions is that they're missing their interior. Like
Right.
Ragnow and Zeitler were missing big time,
Mm-hmm.
and the Packers are getting into the backfield at will. Now, I think they will bounce back. There's not a lot of backfields and linebacking cores that can keep up with Jameer Gibbs like the Packers can. The Packers just happen to have the fastest linebacker room in the league. I can make
Mm-hmm.
that legitimate argument.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just a tough matchup for Jameer Gibbs.
Yeah.
So I think that with the Packers, I think it might have just been a bad matchup. So I do think that they'll round into form of being a top 10 team eventually, but
So Kerm says maybe the Jets, which once again, if you're going off of week one, the Jets in a loss, if you're Aaron Glenn and you are, selling the new fan base on what you can possibly turn the Jets into, that was not a bad first showing. Now the defense, he needs to fix that side of the ball because that's going to be that should be his calling card. But like Kerm said, Fields look good. Fields looked comfortable in an offense that seems tailored to his skill set. And maybe we see the best form of Justin Fields this year. And I think if you want to, if you were to put him as the last team in 6 through 10 based off of week 1, I think they were more impressive than the Lions were.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough.
Which also means the Chiefs probably have to go to 11-15 then.
Like I said, this is going to be so much fun. Yeah, I know. I actually can very well see that. If we just base it off what happened in week 1, yeah, the Jets would be in the top 10.
Yeah. I think that's what we got to do.
So I think this is the funnest way to do it. We're gonna just base it week by week, and we'll just keep moving teams around because I think that's the funnest way to. We're here to have fun. Who needs to forward project in weeks 2 through 7 to 18? This is this is how we'll do it.
All right. Yeah. So Chiefs would go 11-15.
So then, yeah.
Which I think even Chiefs fans would probably say is fair. So now you need one more team for that tier.
Oh man, one more team for that tier? Okay, may I present to you the Oakland or the Las Vegas Raiders? I feel like that would be a good team for that tier. I'm just saying.
I mean, once again, new coach, Pete Carroll, Geno Smith. Look, the defense is supposed to be a weak point for them, and they definitely took advantage of a New England team that dealt with a lot of changes themselves.
Because I think the only other real teams that you could put on our week 1 tier list in here would be, ironically, Jacksonville. They won 26-10. They look good. Or maybe like the Atlanta Falcons, who lost, but they were competitive and Penix showed a lot.
I guess we're coming out to those 3 teams. I would probably say in terms of impressive, I'd probably go Raiders, Jags, Falcons.
I'm A-okay with that.
That seems right, yeah.
Like I said, in terms of grading just by week 1 performance, I also think that the Broncos would fall here.
Okay.
Broncos are just a team where, like I said, they won, but so I want to give them some credit. But I think even these teams, like all of these teams, even some teams that have lost, just looked so much more impressive than Denver did.
That's true. Yeah.
Say,
would the Lions round out that? Well, we still have the Bengals technically to put somewhere.
I'd probably put the Bengals here.
Yeah.
So once again, this is another team where they didn't look all that impressive, even in a win.
I mean, they won in a game where Jamar Chase had like 25 receiving yards. That's impressive. The defense wasn't as terrible as we thought they could be.
So here we go. We need 4 here, and the other remaining teams will go in the bottom. But you know what? I will say, in terms of week 1 performance,
Texans were pretty bad. Yeah.
And I actually think this last spot here is a toss-up, right? Because I think the Cardinals would go here. Seahawks, they weren't good, but I don't think they were as bad as the Lions were week 1. I don't even think they were almost as bad as New England was week 1 at times. I think the Browns definitely go up here. But I guess for your last spot here, Kyle, what do you think? Who looked the worst out of these 3 teams? I guess we'll add in Seattle, New England, or Detroit.
I mean, look, as a Patriots fan, May had an up and down day, a little bit inaccurate. The O-line had some struggles, but defensively, they looked really good. Milton Williams, who they spent a lot of money on, looked great in the middle of that defensive line. Harold Landry looked good off the edge.
Harold did look it off the edge.
I was to get 2.5 sacks. I was surprised. I'd probably put New England there.
So I guess, what do you think? The last spot,
It's either, I guess, Seattle or Detroit.
I'd probably go Detroit. Detroit almost did score double digits if it wasn't for an Isaac Tesla
Yeah,
amazing one-handed touchdown catch.
yeah. When the game was in the balance, they struggled mightily on offense.
So absolutely, like they just looked bad all game. Like I said, I think they'll bounce back, but just judging week one, yeah, Packers really just packed them up and left them out to dry.
Mm-hmm.
So there it is, guys. Based on week one, here's our tier list of how good teams were ranked 1 through 5, 6 through 10. So I guess what do you guys think? Just let us know in the comments. Say we thought we'd do a fun little exercise.
Mm-hmm.
Just overall a great opening week of football.
That's the thing. A lot of competitive games, and I guess the only real blow was really just Colts Dolphins. Everything else was pretty competitive. Well, I guess Jags Panthers wasn't. But that was just a weird game in general because they had the weather delay and everything. And it was just very odd. Kerm, that I definitely agree with that. Some of these teams, you're kind of guessing. It only because it is week one. Obviously, as we play more games, it will definitely shake itself out.
So I guess my question now, and we'll make a little fun out of our little week one graph here.
Okay.
Which teams do you think stay in their respective spots, and which teams do you think there are some teams that stay, move up, move down? Like, who do you think will be the biggest risers and fallers in our little our experiment here? I think the biggest rise will probably just end up being Detroit because I don't know if it can go any worse for them than it did opening night.
Right. I mean, yeah, because the main changes on that team were coaching staff and interior O line. So the interior line probably just needs a couple of weeks to get their stuff together. And you kind of, I guess, depending on how you feel about Dan Campbell, because I feel like Dan Campbell at his core is probably like a really good motivator. So I think he'll get the team to turn it around. So I could see them probably being the biggest riser after week one. The team who might fall, I guess you have to look at the Jets. I mean, we don't know if this is sustainable with Justin Fields, and look, I root for Justin Fields. I guess unfortunately he's wearing gangrene now, but I don't know. I don't know about them. Pittsburgh as well. Rodgers is older. They're feeling good now, but you have two guys on that team, Rodgers and Metcalf, that if they were to go south, how will those two react? And I think that's kind of the fascinating part with the Steelers. And look, Jalen Ramsey was feeling himself after that last play with that, hit to, draw the ball loose to win the game for them. But he's another guy, longer in the tooth. We'll just have to see with the Steelers.
I will say, since it's just based on week one, I want to suggest a last minute change. I think I might have to move the Rams here because just based on week one, yeah, the Colts need to be up here. In fact, you can make an argument that the Colts are all the way up here in terms of week one.
I mean, you could, but then it's like the only team out of that you would drop out would be Baltimore, and I don't know, or I guess the Chargers, but I don't know if I would do that. I don't know if I would do that for the Colts.
So we'll leave the Colts at 6 through 10. It would literally
cherish that. I don't think that's lasting.
It would literally, you can make a strong argument that they had a better week than the Chargers too. So I think you can make an argument that they were one of the 5 best teams of the week.
That's fair.
But Dolphins tack, so they're going to 6 through 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely see.
I think the most intriguing, intriguing line's that 16 to 20 line. because the Bears, you feel like the pieces are there for the Bears. It's just Caleb Williams and his ability to, I guess, execute Ben Johnson's offense. The Jags looked good against the Panthers team, but I'm not sold on the Jags or Lawrence or, seemingly they're turning the running back room over to ETN because they're trading Bigsby away, and Bigsby was the guy last year. So if ETN is back to the level I think a lot of us thought he would be coming out of Clemson, sure, but I'm not sold on them. The Falcons, Penix looked good, but late in that Bucks game, some boneheaded plays that allowed the Bucks to win that. I mean, you mentioned with the Broncos, they probably had the weakest win of week 1. And then the Bengals, the offense can't be that bad. But then is the defense going to be that good? I don't know.
No, that's fair enough. What's funny? I think the top 5 shaped out exactly how it's going to shape out the rest of the year. I think all the best teams in the league proved it. Like, I think the Ravens and Bills showed they're 2 of the best, arguably the number 1 and 2 best teams in the league. They're right up there.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the Eagles, showed that they still got it. They had a tough win.
Yeah.
The Packers showed they're for real. And I know week 1 will make you look like a fool. But the thing with week 1 is I think it's a takeaway if it's a continuation, right?
Yeah.
The Ravens, Bills, Packers, and Eagles all being good are just continuations of what we saw last year.
Mm-hmm.
So I can confidently say that this is probably not just a 1-week blip for these teams. They're probably just going to be good football teams. The Chargers were very good last year, too. The only challenge that they had is the playoffs started, and Justin Herbert turned back into a pumpkin.
Yeah.
But in terms of being a top 5 team this year, I could absolutely see it.
I mean, looking at 3 teams up there, Chargers, Bills, Ravens, 3 teams that I do think there's pressure to perform in the postseason. Who would you have more faith in based off of what you saw week 1? I mean, I guess maybe the obvious answer is the Bills, but like I said, the Chargers looked really impressive. And Baltimore kind of lost the way that they kind of always do.
If we're talking about in like a playoff setting, I would take the Bills, the team I'm most confident in. I want to trust the Ravens, but also they showed me exactly why I can't trust the Ravens.
Yeah.
The Chargers are interesting, but every time I see Justin Herbert in a playoff game, it just doesn't go well. And it's not those losses where I can be like, well, it was the defense. It was everybody but Justin Herbert. You just watch and you're like, no, Justin Herbert was just equally as bad. It's not like, say, because I've seen plenty of quarterback performances where they lose, but you're just like, oh, the quarterback did everything they could. But Justin Herbert just hasn't had one of those games yet. I'm hoping it's this year. I'm rooting for him.
Yeah. Hey, if Quentin Johnston wants to contribute, cool. I like Keenan Allen. I do root for Keenan Allen.
Hey, you know what? Quentin Johnston becoming the greatest pass catcher of all time in South America? Perfect.
Yeah. That was one of the performances that just shocked me.
You're going to just see the Chargers just trying to petition like, hey, every game in Brazil, let's go.
Yeah. Shout out to Brazil fixing their field, too. That field looked great on Friday.
A lot better than last year.
Yeah.
Say everybody was slipping up a storm last year. So I'll give them credit in the world. They saw kind of last year how slippery it was, and they seemingly fixed it up.
Yep.
Say the Commanders, they're interesting. I think they're going to be a very good football team. You know what I always forget about the Commanders, though, Kyle? They're the oldest team in the NFL.
Because I feel like if you asked who you thought was the oldest team, I probably would say the Steelers. That probably would have been my guess. Would probably be the Steelers as the oldest team. But yeah. They did bring in Von Miller. That doesn't help the age number.
Right.
And they have Bobby Wagner.
Right. Like when you think about the Commanders, you just think about Jaden Daniels, but like that's an old team.
Mhm.
Well, older. They can have an average
Yeah,
age of 27,
yeah,
which I guess is almost the perfect setup to bring us into tonight. It's the oldest team in the league versus the third year running, the youngest team in the league. Commanders versus Packers.
yeah.
I my question to you, Kyle, is what do you think are the keys to winning this game? Well, let's start off with the Commanders side. What are the Commanders'
Okay.
keys to victory?
I guess when they have the ball, obviously, when Micah is on the field, make sure you pay attention. That would be the key one. But like the Packers defense is more than Micah against the Lions. Like I think the whole front itself, Washington is going to have to be uh, really good up front, obviously to give Daniels opportunity to kind of do his thing. So that would be my thing. Slow down the front from Green Bay. I think the other side for Green Bay, it would be. I probably would like to see them get Josh Jacobs established a little bit more, especially on a short week. If you can get your running game going, I think that's definitely a key.
Yeah, and I completely agree with that. I think that'll be huge. Plus, Jordan Love probably isn't going to have as much time to drop back today and survey the field as he did against Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I say that is they already announced that Aaron Banks and Zach Tom are both out. So you're going
Mm-hmm.
to have Darius Kennard and Jordan Morgan sliding to probably guard, and Kennard will play tackle. So, when you're losing an all pro tackle and you're replacing him with someone who's more unproven,
Mm-hmm.
it's probably in your best interest to establish the run. So I still think Green Bay takes this one, but I think that's going to make it a lot harder on the offense. I think they're going to see more. Love's going to see more pressure than he did opening week. So I think they'll definitely have to just
Mm-hmm.
establish the run and not give up. Say
Yeah.
Darren Payne is still a game wrecker in the middle, 2 sacks against the Giants. Say they had Armstrong with 6 hurries and a sack. Like
Mm-hmm.
this defense will try to bring the pressure. So when it comes to
Yeah.
the Packers, defense, I think it's really simple. It's all comes back to being smart, maintaining gap integrity. Look, Jaden Daniels is a true dual threat quarterback. He's
Mm-hmm.
one of the best in the league at it. He had the second most rushing yards as a quarterback last year. He's also 69% completion percentage last year. Insanely talented quarterback. The key with him, you got to get pressure, but you also cannot blow your gap assignments because as soon as you do that, he's taken off down the field,
Mm-hmm.
which I think the Packers probably have the best answer in the league for that. We have an elite defensive line that can keep him in the pocket, and if he does get out, we have the quickest linebacker room in the league that can get to him, and the defensive line's quick. So I think that this will be a fun game, and I think this is going to be a fun chess match too, because I want to see how both teams really use their weapons here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I kind of see. I guess week 2 with Debo back there, and I guess how they utilize him once again. I mean, so far, John's got Green Bay, Kerm's got the Packers. I would probably take the Packers as well, with it being at home, especially. I do think that's going to play into it. I do think we will see a more effective Josh Jacobs, even though, like you said, with the shifting on the Packers O line, plus Washington's defensive front is pretty good. That's going to be an interesting matchup, but I agree. I have the Packers winning tonight.
I'm excited to see more of the Packers. They busted out what they call the cheetah package, and
Mm-hmm.
that's when they get Van Ness, Gary, and Parsons all on the field together.
Yeah.
It's the package where Lucas Van Ness actually got his sack because he lined up over between the center and the guard and just absolutely bull rushed his way to a sack. So
Yeah.
I think we'll see a lot of that. say the Packers, not the Packers, the Commanders did have some troubles in pass protection from the right tackle and center, so I could very well see them try to take advantage of that and try to really rush up the middle and bring pressure from the right side and pretty much try to overwhelm them. It's going to be tough getting past Tunzel, so I think they'll bring the pressure from the other side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like you said, that's where gap integrity is going to play a major part because Daniels is a willing runner. And the worst thing you can do is rush too far up the field and make it easy and give him lanes to escape through.
No, absolutely. So that's really all I had for you guys today. We thought we'd rank the teams and then talk about the game tonight. Yep, absolutely. The Green Bay's run game has to be better. That's the one part where I criticized in article that should be out soon on Wire to Wire Network that we had to get the run game better going.
Mm-hmm.
The one spot where the Commanders can attack too that I also noted is Detroit was 5 of 6 for 81 yards and a touchdown in the intermediate part of the field between 10 and 19 yards. So you can have success throwing against the Packers. The challenge with the Packers is they had got so much pressure on Goff is they forced checkdowns. And if they do that again to Washington, then the Commanders are going to be in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
NC State versus Wake Forest currently on tonight. Oh.
Yeah.
Hey, fair enough. I know I'll be watching the Packers, and of course, I'll still be doing the And One podcast, so you can catch some of my live reaction to the Packers on there.
Exactly. So you might, hear go from basketball talk to look at that throw by Love, something like that.
Oh, absolutely. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
Say, Kyle, did you want to add anything before we get up on out of here?
Yeah, I would say for those of you that do like Passion and Precision, we are back tomorrow with a third co-host in the building. That's the only clue I'm going to drop. So make sure you tune in because we'll have a fun show for you over there as well.
No, absolutely. And for me, you can catch me tonight, on the N1 podcast. We'll be talking hoops. We're going to be talking who would the top 10 NBA players be if everybody was in their primes. We might be doing some more tier list work too. And you can catch me tomorrow on the morning show. So busy couple days for me, but I'm looking forward to it. So that being said, we thank you everybody for tuning in, and we hope you enjoyed the rest of your night.
Yeah.